Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Carmen Andrea Harris, the creator and founder of Redefining Widowhood by the leading of the Holy Spirit. This is a ministry, it's a mentorship, and also motivation for women who find themselves on the other side of the death of a spouse. So I was just thinking a few moments ago how I was in a season after my husband had died, and I was asking the Lord in my quiet time if there was anything in my life that I had made an idol, that I may have been idolizing. And after a few moments of sitting still and quiet, the Lord said, yes, widowhood. You've made widowhood an idol. You have widow in all of your bios. You call yourself a widow. You have taken on the identity of a widow, but I didn't give you the identity of widow. The enemy did. The Lord began to speak to me further and deeper and tell me that he never meant for me to set up a tent, for lack of better words, in widowhood. He didn't intend for me to make it my identity. He simply meant for me to pass through widowhood and to go back and to help my sisters who would find themselves on the other side of the death of a spouse, and to help them to pick up their bed and walk, to help to loose the grave clothes from off of them. And when I say loose the grave clothes, I mean some of you who are watching this video, or some women that you may know who have experienced the death of a spouse, they may have experienced the death of their spouse a decade ago. It may have been 5 years ago. And I am not trying to put a time limit on your grief and the way that you walk through your personal journey. I've had people do that to me, and it's very irritating. So I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm saying is, when I talk about loosing the grave clothes, some of you who are watching this video, and some of you who will come across this video, some women that you know, they are still wrapped in the pity, the shame of their husband dying. They're still literally stuck in that season of the moment when their husband died, and they've not loosed the grave clothes. They've not picked up their bed to walk. They've not even allowed themselves to grieve, let alone to embark on the journey of healing. So in my quiet time, many years ago, when the Lord was telling me that I had made widowhood an idol, he was explaining to me that he never meant for me to pitch a tent there. And when I look back on my journey, a lot of people would say, oh my goodness, Carmen, like you were so strong, like you're too strong. But there were parts of the journey where I picked up widowhood and I wore it like a mantle, like a cloak, like it was a part of my identity. I wore it like it was a badge of honor. As a matter of fact, my Wife Widow Warrior brand, which I still think is super dope to this day, but even with that, like the meaning of it has evolved. But when I created the Wife Widow Warrior brand, I was on a call with my YouTube coach at the time, and she made a statement, and she didn't mean any disrespect. We were having a conversation, and she was saying, you know, like, widowhood is not necessarily a badge of honor. And in my mind, I'm like, well, it's not a badge of shame either. If you can survive widowhood, you know, you can survive anything. And when I look back on it, I'm glad I created the brand. I'm glad I got the revelation for it. But widowhood is not meant to be survived. You're supposed to grieve. You're supposed to incorporate healing tools, whether that be hiring a grief counselor, a widow mentor, a coach, a therapist. But the idea is to thrive after not just widowhood, but to thrive after any type of death that has rocked your world, to thrive after any type of loss that you have experienced, whether it's a non-death loss or a death loss, and to learn how to thrive after major life transitions. That's the bigger picture. And sometimes when we go through things, we can idolize our trauma, we can idolize our grief, we can idolize our pain, and we can get stuck in it. And that is not the goal. That is not what we're supposed to do. And I know some of you may be watching this video and you're fresh into the death of your husband. this is not necessarily a message for you. This is for those of you who have been in this space year after year after year after year, and you look up and you're going on 7, 8, 9, 10 years and you're stuck in the same place. Okay, this is not to discount your grief. This is not to discount your pain. This is to encourage you and motivate you to assess where you are at in your grief and your healing journey, and to ask yourself seriously, are there areas of your journey where you're still stuck in the past? Are there areas of your journey where you're still stuck in past seasons and you've been unable to move forward? You've been unable to rediscover a fresh new joy. You've been unable to sit in the pain, sit in the grief, and let it do what it's going to do, and then give yourself the permission and the audacity and the boldness to say, hey, I'm going to get up and I'm going to heal. This is something really horrible that happened to me, but I'm going to get up. I'm going to pick up my bed and walk. I am going to heal. And I'm not saying this from a place of like a clinical study or book knowledge, although I am educated. I have 2 degrees. I am a certified grief counselor, certified in inner healing, deliverance, all of that. But there are certain things that you only learn through lived experience and life experience. So I'm speaking to you from life experience. I am 7 years out on this journey, and I am still shedding layers of the trauma, of the grief, of my life being turned upside down. And again, my journey, if you look back at my original story, you can look at the video. I'm not going to go through it, but the death of my husband, it wasn't just his death. It was the trauma and the losses and the stacked trauma that occurred after his death. And I'm not comparing myself to you, but if I could be standing here today in my right mind, using my voice, continuing to pick up my bed and walk daily, and continuing to become divinely realigned and aligned with God and his purpose and his plan for me, even in the midst of grief, even in the midst of different things that that's going on in my personal life right now today. If I can pick up my bed and walk, if I can set my face like flint and be steadfast and unmovable and abounding in the work of the Lord, so can you. So if you connect with this message, if you feel like you've been stuck in the same place year after year after year after year, and you're tired of it, and you're ready to make a decision that you want to get up and you want to allow yourself and give yourself permission to grieve. Some of you haven't even given yourselves permission to grieve. That is one thing about my journey in the very beginning. Like, number one, I knew that the death of my husband was not going to take me out. I knew that I was going to be okay. I didn't know how it was going to happen because my life was a mess after he died. When I say it was a mess, it was a mess. Lost everything except my mind and my children. Vehicle, home, everything. But once you make a decision that you're going to get up, you're going to move forward, you're going to, number one, give yourself permission to grieve. Again, some of you all need to give yourself permission to grieve. Embrace all the emotions, feel the things, think the thoughts, journal out your anger, your sadness, your rage, whatever it is, and then embark on the journey of healing, inner healing, maybe even deliverance, okay? Counseling, therapy. Because many of you, especially if you're connected to me, especially if you resonate with the sound of my voice, you probably are a woman who once was ambitious, resilient. You're probably a creator. You're in business. You're in leadership. You're in ministry, but you may feel stuck in a rut, like you just cannot get out of this space, this stronghold of grief, of sadness. So if that's you and you resonate with what I am saying, I want to encourage you to, number one, give yourself permission to grieve, but do not stay there. And then I want you to have the audacity to heal, whatever healing looks like for you. If you need to invest in some healing tools, I have some digital healing tools and resources that are on my website, linked in my YouTube bio. If you need to invest in grief counseling right now, I am, and this is not a shameless plug, I am inviting you on a journey of healing. You can accept the invitation or not. That is on you. I am inviting you to explore the digital healing tools that I have. I am inviting you to explore my grief counseling services, which are priced very approachably right now, because I understand that there's a lot going on in the world. People are dealing with a lot, and people need to speak to somebody, a professional. Okay, there's a difference between speaking to your friends, your homegirls, your peers, your associates, and speaking with someone who has walked the journey that you are walking through right now. Someone who has lived experience, and someone who also has the education and the knowledge to bring together to really guide you. Okay, I also have my widow chat. I bring that back every once in a while. The widow chat is a conversation between a woman who is in the fire of widowhood, and me, someone who gets it, who has walked along the journey. Okay, and if you want to go deeper with me, I'm rolling out my signature program, the Pathway Program, Widow Edition. That's for women who want to do a little bit deeper work. You want to work with me over a 6-week period or a 3-month journey. I have the resources available. Okay, because here's the thing: you can watch video after video after video, but if you're not implementing, if you're not applying, if you're not making the decision to invest in your healing on a deeper level. So again, that is my TED Talk for today. That is my invitation to you. If you've been watching my videos and you know that you want to work with me, you know that you want to move out of the season that you're in, you know that you want to get from being stuck in the past and move forward into the future. Not move on, okay, but move forward in the future, and you want help. Not you need help, but you want help, because there's a difference between needing something and wanting something. When you want something, you're going to make a decision to get it. When you need it, you may or may not. So this message is for those of you who want help, who want guidance, who are ready to move forward into the future, who are ready to heal while also creating space for your grief. So you can go to my website, Redefining Widowhood, or you can visit the, I'll link the information in this video, because I don't have all of my offerings on my website right now. So I hope this message encouraged you. I hope it motivated you. I hope it ministered to you wherever it is that you are at in your journey. If this resonated with you, I want you to drop me a comment below. Let me know where you are watching this from. And I want you to let me know your biggest takeaway from the video. So thank you so much for watching. Peace and blessings and healing, restoration, and joy unto you, your children, and your household. Carmen Andrea Harris. Peace.